Hi everybody! Welcome back to St. Peter's Preschool Time. I'm Mrs. Smith. I teach in the Bunny Room, and I'm so glad you can join us today. Are you ready to start our day like we always do with our song, our welcome song? Help me sing it. Welcome to our preschool time, preschool time, preschool time. Welcome to our preschool time. I'm so glad you're here, and I am glad you're here. We're going to talk about some more fall things. Now, I know you know there's a special holiday coming up. What is it? That's right. Halloween is coming very, very soon. And we're going to talk about some things you might see outside at Halloween and some things that you can get at the store at Halloween. So, to start the day, we're going to start a little bit differently today. I'm going to have a special guest read you a story. It's somebody else that you see at St. Peter's. Are you ready to see? Here she is to read the story.
Hi, boys and girls. I'm Mrs. K. I'm from the Bear Room at St. Peter's. Today I'm going to read you my most favorite Halloween story. It's called The Little Old Lady Who Was Not Afraid of Anything by Linda Williams and illustrated by Megan Lloyd. Illustrated means she drew the pictures, and there are some really awesome pictures in this book. Once upon a time, there was a little old lady who was not afraid of anything. One windy afternoon, the little old lady left her cottage and went for a walk in the forest to collect herbs, spices, nuts, and seeds. She walked so long and so far that it started to get dark. There was only a sliver of the moon shining through the night. So the little old lady started to walk home. Suddenly she stopped. Right in the middle of the path were two big shoes. And the shoes went, everybody ready? Clomp, clomp. Get out of my way, you two big shoes. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady. And on she walked down the path. But behind her, she could hear two shoes go clomp, clomp. A little farther on, the little old lady stumbled into a pair of pants. The pants went, everybody ready? Wiggle, wiggle. Get out of my way, you pair of pants. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady, and she walked on. But behind her, what do you think she could hear? She heard two shoes go clomp, clomp. One pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. Still farther on, the little old lady bumped into a shirt, and the shirt went shake, shake. Get out of my way, you silly shirt. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady. And on she walked a little bit faster, but behind her she could hear two shoes go clomp, clomp. One pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. One shirt go shake, shake. A little ways on, the little old lady came to two white gloves and a tall black hat. Do you remember what we have to do now? And the two gloves went clap, clap, and the hat went nod, nod. Get out of my way, you two white gloves and tall black hat. I'm not afraid of you, she said. And on she walked, just a little bit faster. But behind her, she could hear, everybody ready? Two shoes go clomp, clomp. One pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. One shirt go shake, shake. 2 gloves go clap, clap, and 1 hat go nod, nod. By now, the little old lady was walking at quite a fast pace. She was very near her cottage when she was startled by a very huge, very orange, and very scary pumpkin head. Can you see it way over here, hiding behind the tree? And the head went boo, boo. This time the little old lady did not stop to talk. She did not stop at all. She ran, but behind her she could hear 2 shoes go clomp, clomp. 1 pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. 1 shirt go shake, shake. 2 gloves go clap, clap. 1 hat go nod, nod. And 1 scary pumpkin head. Everybody ready? Go boo, boo. The little old lady did not look back. She ran as fast as she could and didn't stop to catch her breath until she was safe inside her cottage with the door locked. She sat in her chair by the fire and she rocked and she rocked. It was so quiet in her cottage before she heard a knock, knock. Should she answer it? Well, she was not afraid of anything. So she went to the door and opened it. And what do you think she saw? 2 shoes go clomp, clomp. 1 pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. 1 shirt go shake, shake. 2 gloves go clap, clap. 1 hat go nod, nod. And 1 scary pumpkin head go boo, boo. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady bravely. What do you want anyway? We've come to scare you. You can't scare me, said the little old lady. So what's to become of us? The pumpkin head suddenly looked very unhappy. I have an idea, said the little old lady, and she whispered into the pumpkin's ear. The pumpkin head nodded, and its face started to brighten. The little old lady said good night. She closed the door, and she whistled on her way to bed. The next morning, she woke up very early, and she went to her window and looked out into the garden. And what do you think she saw? Are you ready? 2 shoes go clomp, clomp. 1 pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. 1 shirt go shake, shake. 2 gloves go clap, clap. 1 hat go nod, nod. And 1 scary pumpkin head go boo, boo. And scare all the crows away. What did she make? Did she make a scarecrow? Wasn't that a fun book? I hope you have a very happy Halloween and have lots and lots of fun. And I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mrs. K. Wasn't that an awesome story? I love that story. It's one of my favorites, and I think it's one of Mrs. K's favorite stories too. So I want to ask you, what did the parts of the story make at the end? The pumpkin head and the shirt and the gloves and the pants, what did they make at the end when they got together? That's right, a scarecrow. And what do scarecrows do? That's right, they scare the birds. Farmers put scarecrows in their farms, or on their farms, in their fields, to keep away the birds. The silly birds think that they're real people. So that scares them and they fly away. But scarecrows aren't real. Farmers use whatever they have at home, some old clothes, to make scarecrows. I want to show you some pictures of some simple scarecrows. See that? How they're that. I don't even think those scarecrows are stuffed. I think the farmer just took sticks and hung some clothing on them. But some farmers make their scarecrows a little bit fancier. This one has a face and some gloves to keep the birds away. Here's another silly one that a farmer made. There's a skirt and some flowers. So farmers got really fancy with their scarecrows, and people started liking scarecrows and started using them for decorations at their house. You might see, if you take a walk around your neighborhood, you might see some people using scarecrows like this as decorations, or this one. And then sometimes people will make their scarecrows silly. Like this one, I wanted to show you this one. Look really closely. What is this scarecrow doing? Do you see what's in his hands? That's right, he's drumming. It's a scarecrow drummer. Isn't that funny? I like that one. I wanted to show that to you. So scarecrows keep the birds away. And I have a little poem I want to share with you, but I need your help to do it. Now there's a part where we have to move our body parts. So we're going to start with our hands. And so what you're going to do is shake your hands, okay? So I'm going to start the poem, and then it's the same words over and over again. So you'll be able to join in the words with me by the end. Are you ready? It goes like this. Floppy, floppy scarecrow guards his fields all day. He shakes his floppy hands. Shake your floppy hands. And scares the crows away. All right, let's do our arms next. Floppy, floppy scarecrow guards his fields all day. He shakes his floppy arms. Shake your floppy arms. And scares the crows away. Now, let's do our head next. Floppy, floppy scarecrow guards his fields all day. He shakes his floppy, floppy head and scares the crows away. Now let's do our legs. You can't see my legs, but I've got them ready. Help me say it. Floppy, floppy scarecrow guards his fields all day. He shakes his floppy legs and scares the crows away. Now we're going to do our whole body. You ready? Floppy, floppy scarecrow guards his fields all day. He shakes his floppy body, everything, floppy your legs and shake your arms and hands, and scares the crows away. Good job. And you guys can do that with any body parts. You can do it with your elbows or your feet, whatever you want to shake. So I made myself a scarecrow. See my scarecrow head? And I drew a scarecrow shirt. Now my scarecrow shirt's pretty plain, and I want to put some pictures on my scarecrow shirt. But I have one rule, and I need your help. The one rule is that it has to begin with the same letter that scarecrow begins with. What letter does scarecrow begin with? What letter is that? It's not C. S. S for scarecrow. So I'm going to put my S for scarecrow right here. And now, anytime we have a picture that starts with S, can you say that? S. With the letter S, we can put that picture on my scarecrow shirt. If it doesn't start with S, it can't go on my scarecrow shirt. Are you ready? Here's the first picture. What is that a picture of? What is it? A sock. Sock. Does sock start like scarecrow with an S? Yes, it does. So I can put the sock on my scarecrow shirt. Let's do another one. Are you ready? I know you're going to know what this picture is right away. We did a lesson about these guys before. Aren't they great? What is that? Spider. Does spider start with S? Yes, S is for spider. I can put the spider on my scarecrow shirt. Okay, ready for the next one? What is this? A rainbow. Rainbow. What does rainbow start with? Does it start with S? No. Rainbow starts with R. Rainbow. Rainbow can't go on my scarecrow shirt. How about this? What is this? That's right, star. Does star start with S? Star? Yes, it does. Very good. I can put a star on my Scarecrow shirt. Here's another picture. What is that a picture of? What is it? A car. Car. Does car start with the letter S? Car? No. Car starts with k, which is the C sound. So nope, car can't go on my Scarecrow shirt. How about this? What is that a picture of? The sun. Does sun start with the letter S? Yes, it does. I can put a sun on my Scarecrow shirt. Now I have another picture. What is this a picture of? What is it? A book. Does book start with the letter S? No. Book starts with the letter B. Book. So I can't put the book on my Scarecrow shirt. How about this? What is this a picture of? Pizza. Does pizza start with the letter S? Pizza. Does that start with S? No. Pizza starts with P. Good job, everybody. How about this letter or this picture? What is that? Snake. Does snake start with S? Snake. Yes, it does. Snake can go on my Scarecrow shirt. I have one last picture. Let's see if this last one can go on my Scarecrow shirt. Ready? What is that? Strawberry. Can strawberry go on my Scarecrow shirt? Does it start with the letter S? It does. S for strawberry. So let's say our S words together. Ready? Sock, spider, star, sun, snake, and strawberry. They all start with the letter S. So I wanted to talk about one more thing that you see at Halloween time, or that you can only get at Halloween time in the fall. And that is, I'm going to give you a clue. It's sweet and we can eat it. I'm going to show you. What is it? Can you tell what it is? That's right, it's candy corn. Candy corn is a candy that you can only get in the fall at Halloween time. And in my candy corn, I got a mix of candy corn. Sometimes you can get candy corn that just has the white, orange, and yellow in it. And then you can get the white, orange, and brown. And you can also get little candy corn pumpkins. So I want to play a little math game, a graphing game. If you can get your grown-up to print this paper out, you can do it with me right now with my candy corn. Or if you have candy corn at home, you can use your candy corn to do it by yourself at home. So what you do is you get in your candy corn and you get a handful of candy corn. And then every time you take a piece of candy corn out, you look at what it is. I have the yellow, orange, and white candy corn like this. Okay, I have one yellow, orange, and white candy corn. So I'm going to color in one spot at the yellow, orange, and white candy corn. Now I'm going to get the next piece. I have one pumpkin. So I'm going to color in one block above the pumpkin. And you don't have to color it all in, just as long as it has a good mark there. And pull out my next piece. Another yellow, orange, and white. So now I go to the next block up. Just go one up. And I color that in. Okay, now I know I've had two orange ones, I've had one pumpkin, and I haven't gotten any brown ones yet. Okay, here comes my next one. It's a brown one, so now I can color in one brown one on my chart. And I set that aside in the brown pile. Next one. Another brown one. So now I go one up from that spot I colored in before and color in another spot right above that. Put that one more. Next one, a pumpkin. So now I look where the pumpkin is. I go to the next spot that I can color and color it in. Look, right now I have 2 orange and white and yellow. I have 2 pumpkin candy corns, and I have 2 brown candy corns. So my next one is, that's right, white. There's 3 of those. Comes another one. Another white, orange, and yellow candy corn. I have to color the next block up. Now I can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow, orange, and white candy corns. Now what do I have? A pumpkin. I go to the next block up and color a pumpkin in. I have 3 pumpkins so far. Now I go to the next one. Oh, it's a brown one. So I go to the brown candy corn spot and I color in 1 block. Look, I got another brown one. I have to go up 1 more and color in 1 more brown candy corn spot. I'm almost done. I only have a few left. Which one is that? That's right. I need to color in the yellow, orange, and white. I go 1 up above. See how I'm coloring 1 block next in my row for the orange, white, and yellow? Because now I can see that I have 5 of those candy corns. Look, I got another one. So now I have to go up 1 more. I color in that 1 block up because I got another candy corn. And here is my last one from my handful. 1 more brown candy corn. I color it in. Now, I did all the pieces that were in my handful. And I can look, I sorted them into piles. But now I can look at my picture and I can see I had how many yellow and orange candy corns? 6. How many pumpkins did I have? I look up, I had 3 pumpkins. And how many brown ones did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see the number 5 is there. 5. Which one did I have the most of? Which one has the highest row of colored blocks? That's right. The orange one went all the way up to the 6th block. I had 6 pieces of orange and yellow and white candy corn. Which one did I have the least of, the smallest amount of? Which one did I not color many blocks in? Which one? That's right, the pumpkin one. The pumpkins, I only had 3 pumpkins. And I can see the number 3 over here. 2, 3 blocks I colored in for pumpkins. And then I had 5 brown ones right in the middle. So if you have this paper at home and you have some candy corn at home, you can take a handful of candy corn and play this game at home. And if you want at home, if you don't want to use a marker, you can set the candy corn right on there. If you don't have it on a chart like me, if you have it on your table, you can just put your candy corn right in the blocks and see how many you have. So friends, I wanted to do one last thing with our candy corn, something fun. I wanted to be a scientist and do an experiment. Do you want to be a scientist with me? So what a scientist does is he asks a question and then he tells what he thinks might happen. That's called a prediction, where you tell what you think is going to happen. And then the scientist does an experiment and then he can see what really happens. So my question is going to be, will our candy corn sink or float? Actually, I'm going to do 2 questions. That's my first question. Will the candy corn sink or float? And I have some different liquids. I have water, oil, vinegar, and Sprite. Sprite is a kind of soda that we can drink. And I made sure they all have the same amount of liquid in them. I used my measuring cup to measure the same amount of liquid in each one. So they all have the same amount. The water has the same amount, the oil, the vinegar, and the Sprite all have the same amount. So now my question is, will the candy corn sink or float? Now, if we were in school together, I would write down under prediction what we think is going to happen. But since we're not in school and I can't be with all of you to hear what you think, I just want you to tell me right now, do you think the candy corn will sink to the bottom or float on the water? What do you think? Okay, we're going to see. How about in the oil? Do you think it'll sink or float in the oil? We're going to find out. Do you think in the vinegar, will the candy corn sink or float? All right. And how about in the Sprite, in the soda? Do you think the candy corn will sink or float in the Sprite? Like I said, if we were together, I would write all of our answers up here, what we think is going to happen. That's our prediction. If we think it's going to sink or float in the water or the oil or the vinegar. Now you could have said, yes, I think it'll float in the water, but I think it'll sink in the oil. You can have different answers for each one. All right, so now we're going to do our experiment and see what really happens. Will the candy corn sink or float? Are you ready? Here goes the first candy corn in the water. It didn't float. It sank. Can you see it in there? It sank right to the bottom. Now let's do the oil. It dropped to the bottom in the oil too. It did not sink. Did not float. It sank. How about in the vinegar? Do you think it'll sink or float? See if you can see. Oh, it went to the bottom in the vinegar too. Looks like it's sinking for all of them. Last one. Do we think it'll float in the Sprite with its bubbles in the soda? Let's see. Nope. It went to the bottom there. So candy corn doesn't float in any of my liquids. Now, I'm going to do another question. I'm going to set my timer and I'm going to have the candy corn in these liquids for half an hour. So while my timer's going, I'm going to change my question. My question isn't going to be if it sinks or floats anymore. My question is going to be, which one of these is going to dissolve the candy corn? Dissolve means that the candy corn kind of breaks apart and breaks away into the liquid. So I'm going to say, which will dissolve the candy corn? Okay, which one will dissolve the candy corn? So what do you think will happen? Do you think the water will dissolve it the most? Do you think the oil will dissolve it the most? Or the vinegar? Or the Sprite? Well, we can see it's bubbling in the Sprite. Can you see that? Maybe that means it will dissolve it faster. I don't know. So our predictions, you think which one is going to dissolve it the fastest. And then we're going to wait 30 minutes and see what happened. Now, with the magic of our camera, I'm going to use my camera to speed up time so you can see what happens to all of these. I'm going to set the camera right up so you can watch it go fast. Now, if we were in our classroom, we would go off and play for a little bit and maybe come back and look at them every once in a while. But since we can't do that, I don't want you sitting in front of a camera for half an hour watching the candy corn. So I'm going to do what's called a time lapse, which will make it go faster. So let's watch our candy corn for half an hour. Okay, friends, so our half an hour is done and you got to see what happened to the candy corn in the video. So I'm going to pull them out one by one so we can see which one we think broke the candy corn up the most. So this is the water. Look at that little piece of candy corn that's left. Can you see it on there? Sorry. That's the water. dropped the oil. Here's the candy corn that was in the oil. That one looks almost the same as it did when I put it in. Now here's the vinegar. Oops, there's the vinegar one. That one looks almost like the water. Those are pretty close. Let's see if this one will come off the spoon. Let's see what the Sprite did. The Sprite still dissolved a little bit, but it's still bigger than the other two. Oops, I broke in there. That was my fault. But here they are. I'm going to try and show them to you a little bit closer. Which one do you think dissolved the most? I don't think the oil did anything to our candy corn. And the Sprite did some dissolving, but not as much as the water and the vinegar. And if you look, I'm going to have to say it might be a tie between the water and the vinegar where it got broken up the most. So on our chart, on our experiment chart, what really happened? We know that the oil didn't do anything. I'm going to put an X. It really didn't do anything. And the Sprite did some. It broke up the candy corn a bit. But I have to say the water and the vinegar candy corn, which you can see here and here, are the smallest. So the water did it and the vinegar. So you can do this experiment at home with different liquids. If you want, you can do it with milk or maybe add salt to your water. You could heat up your water and see if a different temperature of water dissolves your candy corn more. You can also do experiments with floating with the candy corn. We know that the candy corn didn't float in any liquids, but you could try and make a boat with maybe aluminum foil or Reynolds wrap, whatever you want to call it. Make a boat and see if your candy corn will float in the boat of aluminum foil, and then see how many it will hold. If it does float, if it will hold 10 candy corns. Those are just some fun things you can do as if you want to be a scientist with your candy corn and you want to experiment more. But I hope you had fun with our little experiment. Okay. So I have a simple craft that you can make a candy corn with. If your mommy or daddy or whoever your grown-up is can print this paper out, you can take your scissors, practice cutting, and cut that shape out, or have your grown-up cut it out. And then you can glue it on another piece of paper. Or if you don't have another piece of paper, you can just do it on that sheet. You don't have to cut it out. You can just do the next part on that sheet. But glue it on my paper here. Now here's what we're going to practice today. We're going to practice tearing. So when you tear paper, you're using your fingers. And the bottom part of my candy corn is going to be yellow, so that's why I have the yellow paper. You take your fingers and pinch. Don't grab the paper like this and pull, or it won't work. It won't tear. See, I'm pulling now. It won't tear. Take your fingers, pull the paper one way with one hand and one way with the other, like this. So ready? Like that. Oop, I got a little piece. If I tear with long pieces, you can do little tears by using your fingers in little pieces. One way with one hand and one way with the other hand. The other way with the other hand. Tear some pieces. Then you glue your yellow pieces on the bottom. Or however you want your candy corn to be, because it is your candy corn. If you want orange on the bottom, you can put orange on the bottom. And then I'm putting the orange in the middle. I have some pieces already torn. And you just keep going until you have your candy corn completely filled in, and it'll look something like this. I put the yellow on the bottom, the orange in the middle, and the white at the top. And all those pieces are torn paper. Simple. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed your lesson with the scarecrows and the candy corn, and I hope you had fun being a scientist with me. Now it's time to say goodbye again. So let's sing our goodbye song. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. I'm so glad you could be with me. Till next time.